गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम्। ॐ श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। ॐ वृषभं च शनीनां विश्वरूपमदाभ्यं बृहस्पतिं वरेण्यम्। ॐ तद्विष्णोः परमं पदं सदा पश्यन्ति सूरयः दिवीव चक्षुराततम्। ॐ सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणि नमोऽस्तुते। ॐ श्लीं ह्रीं ज्योतिर्ब्राह्माय नमः। Can everyone say Hare Ramakrishna 3 times? Om Hare Ramakrishna Hare Ramakrishna Hare Ramakrishna. Om Pam Parasharaya Namah. Om Pam Parasharaya Namah. Om Pam Parasharaya Namah. Om Pam Parasharaya Namah. In Parashara BPHS, we will start the chapter on Karakamsha. Atha Karakamsha Phaladhyayah, chapter 33. Effects of Karakamsha. Atha ham sampravakhyami Karakamsha phalam dvija Meshadirathige swamshe yatha vad brahma bhashitam. Atha ham sampravakhyami. Thus I am speaking Karakamsha phalam dvija. Karaka Hamsha, Karakamsha means Amsha of the Karaka, division of the Karaka. Phalam means result. So the result given by the divisions occupied by Karaka. O Brahmin. Meshadi Rashige Swamse, Meshadi Rashige, Mesha etc. In Mesha etc. Aries etc. Rashi, Swamse, the Amsha of One. One can be interpreted as Lagna or as Karaka, Atmakaraka. Atmakaraka is self. So, given that he earlier said Karakansha Phalam, he is basically using the word Swamsha as a synonym of Karakamsha. So if the Karakamsha is in signs from Aries, etc., Yathavat Brahma Bhashidam, the results of those placements as given by Brahma earlier.
So this is like Atma Karakasha,
He specifically, he doesn't specifically say, but actually in the next verse he will say specifically Atmaraka. When he doesn't say which Karaka Samsha he is talking about, we assume that it is Atmaraka. Moreover, he said Swa Amsha, own. He didn't say like Amacha Amsha, Amacha or Bhatru or Matru. He just said Swa Amsha. So he is talking about the Atmaraka. So next verse is Gruhe Mushaka Marjara Mesham Sehyatmakarake Sada Bhayaprada Vipra Papa Yukte Visheshatah. Gruhe Mushaka Marjara means in the house Mushaka Marjara. Mushaka means rats, Marjara means cats. There will be cats and rats in the house. Basically a lot of animals. Mesham Sehyatmakarake. If Atmakaraka is in Aries. Aries Hamsha. Atmaraka is in Aries Hamsha. Sada Bhayaprada Vipra Papa Yukte Visheshatah. Sada Bhayaprada Vipra. There will be a lot of fear. The person's life goes on under slightly fearsome and not really comfortable circumstances. Papa Yukte Visheshatah. If there is a malefic planet along with him, then it is particularly so. Vrusham Chakagate Swasmin Sukhadascha Chatushpadah Mithunam Chakate Tasmin Kanvyadi Sambhavaha. Okay. Vrusham Chakagate Swasmin means if the Atmakaraka, if the one who shows self is in Vrusham Chakagata. Vrusham Chaka means in the Taurus Hamsha. By the way, I just want to say one word, just for recording I want to say it. Earlier he used Mesha Amsha. Here he used the word Vrusha Amsha Ka. The word Ka has been used. And there is an opinion in some Jyotish schools, especially SJC, as Sanjay ji taught, that Ka changes the meaning. It is different. Lagnamsha, for example, is Lagna Samsha. The Lagna occupied in a divisional chart. Lagnamsha Ka means you take that and transpose it in the Rashi chart and then use that in the Rashi chart, then it's Lagnamsha Ka. Like that, Sanjay ji said Amsha means division, Amsha means take the planet or Lagna in the division and put it back in the Rashi chart. But the thing is, in Sanskrit, Ka basically means nothing. It's just a sweet nothing. So, if there is a suffix of Ka at the end of anything, it just means the little one, the one, like that. It doesn't really, it may not add anything significant in terms of astrological meaning. As a matter of fact, here, in one verse he said Meshamse, in the other verse he said Vrishamse Kagate. Immediately next one he says Mithnamse Gate, not Mithnamse Ka. So, some he says Amsaka, some he says Amsa, and he is obviously, this is one stream. So, he is not suddenly saying, and in any case, when you take a planet in the divisional chart, when you place that back in the Rashi chart, if you are just talking about the sign, it doesn't matter. So, there is no need to say Ka, if Ka has a particular meaning. So, this is a, not really a proof, but this should tell you that Ka really doesn't mean anything, even in other contexts. And in my judgment, Amsaka means nothing. Karakamsaka, Lagnamsaka means Karakamsaka, Lagnamsaka, nothing. Ka has no meaning.
Not even the Lord of that. Not even the Lord of particular.
Ka never means the Lord of the sign. Ga means one who has gone into that sign. So if we say, let's say, Lagnamsaka, that means one who is occupying the Lagna Samsya. Wherever Lagna is in the Amsha, somebody occupying the sign. So Ga means somebody who has gone into, but Ka is basically devoid of any significant meaning. It's just a...
Ka means possessing.
Pardon me?
Like Hindi, the Ka maybe.
Yeah. This is different. This is not that Ka. Okay. For example, you say Bala, Balaka, right? Bala means boy. Balaha. The Sanskrit word Balaha means boy. Now, Balakaha means again boy. It's not that Balaka is some different kind of word. No, Balaka and Bala are both words for the same thing. Similarly, Kanya and Kanyaka. Ka for Strilinga, feminine gender, and Kaha for Pumlinga. Or Kam for Napumsalinga. So you can just add those to several words without really adding any significant thing to the meaning. It's just... So, anyway, so coming back to the verse. Vrushamsika gate swasmin. If the Atmakarka is in the Sarasamsya, Sukhadapte Chadushpadaha means four-legged ones, animals. Sukhadaha. They give happiness. So it's not like your house is infected with all these cats, rats, etc. and you are uncomfortable, but you are happy animals. Maybe you have some horses, some cows in your house, and you enjoy having them. Mithanamsika te tasmin. Bottom line is Aries is a male fixed sign owned by Mars, so fear, etc. And Taurus is a benefic sign owned by Venus, so there is happiness, comfort, etc. So we'll figure out if that is true as we go further, but so far it looks like he's suggesting the nature of the sign where Atmakarka is plays a role in deciding what kind of life he has. Pardon me? Okay, he talking about Amsha. He didn't specifically say Navamsha so far. He only said Amsha. So it could be Navamsha. People normally take as Navamsha. But it could be another Amsha also. Parashara never said if I don't say any Amsha, it means Navamsha. He never really made that clear. So, moreover, he made clear which Amsha is seen for what matter. If you want to see Bhagya, one Amsha. If you want to see Sukha, one Amsha. If you want to see career, one Amsha. If you want to see spirituality, Upasana, one Amsha. He specifically mentioned which Amsha. So, later if he says so-and-so combination in the Amsha, then he will be very learned. It has to be Chaturvincha Amsha. If he talked about Amsha. If he talked about Rashi, then that's fine. There is only one Rashi. But Amsha, there are several Amshas. So, the only guideline he gave is based on the matters being judged. Which Amsha refers to which Amsha he specified. So, here He's, for example, talking about the sukha. So which amsa shows sukha? I mean, if you strictly go by his instructions, Shodashamsa. Not really Navamsa. Navamsa is marital life. Unless you are seeing the chart of a cow or a bull and then seeing, then basically marital Navamsa can show happiness from other animals, other four-legged animals. But if you are talking about a human being and you are talking about animals and happiness from animals, it's not necessarily Navamsa. Navamsa is not about animals, your properties. As animals that you own, like horses and cows, are a property, it may be seen from Chaturthamsa. Or, in general, happiness from vehicles and in general happiness. Sukha sukasya vijnanam vahananam tathaivacha. That is from Shodashamsa. So, taking the Chatushpadas, the four-legged animals, as vehicles, or in general treating this as happiness and sadness matter, you can use Shodashamsa. It is not clear. This is why I said several times. There is a lot more research needed in the matter of interpreting Parashara. What we know is the tip of the iceberg. We just know a few little things. And the problem is, people are engaged in unnecessary bitterness. For example, K.N. Rao and Sanjay Rath, both are great astrologers, but they have their own view that one person says, you take Atmakarka and Navamsa, place him in the Rashi chart, and then see the chart with respect to him. Suppose my Atmakarka is Moon. So Moon is in Gemini in my Navamsa. So my Karkamsa would become Gemini. So in K.N. Rao's opinion, you take Gemini as reference in my Rashi chart, and then you see. I mean, here he is only talking about the Rashi occupied by Karakamsa. But later he will say from Karakamsa, houses, etc. So to interpret those, some people, K.N. Rao does like that. And Pandit Sanjay Rath, he basically says, no, you use Navamsa only. And then he is adamant that you take Moon, in my case, for example, Gemini as reference in the Navamsa and judge it. The bottom line is, if you look at the kind of readings Parashara gave, neither of them may actually be right. Both of them think I am right, but the thing is, nobody really understands Parashara today. But what people understand is a small percentage of what Parashara spoke. And luckily we have a few simple techniques like general divisional chart, taking Lagna as reference, and then Vinchotri Dasha, Siddhi Pravesh. There are a few techniques, so we are making some predictions. But if astrology were to regain its last prabha, the last luster from the old days, we have to actually understand what Parashara is talking about. He took the trouble of teaching always before the beginning of Kali Yuga because he thought this knowledge would be useful in this age. But in my opinion, it has already lost. 95% of this knowledge has already lost relevance. People are focusing on the irrelevant. They are actually not focusing on what really matters. So anyway, coming back to this verse, my opinion is this verse should be interpreted either in the Shodashamsa or in the Chaturthamsa, not really in the Navamsa.
One question.
Yes.
So is there no relevance of the Atmakarka in D1?
You should have some relevance. Atmakarka, in every chart, Atmakarka, like Parashara said, is the king of the horoscope. So he should have, he's basically like I said earlier, he is your very sense of being. So he should have relevance in all charts. But the thing is, he's specifically giving some results. Then, being in Taurus Amsa, then there is happiness from four-legged animals or vehicles probably. Four-legged animals, you horses, etc. You probably use as vehicles, or cattle that give you a lot of wealth, lot of fortune. So either D4 or D16. So like that, if you look at all the rest of the readings that he gave, based on the readings, he may be mixing, he may be giving, if it is Aries, this result in one Amsa. If it is Taurus, this result, another Amsa. If it is Gemini, this result. He may be talking about another Amsa. He may be giving just examples. You can't expect him to cover all the 16 charts and all the 12 signs and then give readings. He is telling you how to see basically. So bottom line is, see the sign occupied by Atmakarka, the nature of the sign, is it a benefic sign, malefic sign, what kind of things the sign shows. That throws light on an important aspect of the person's life, how the person's life goes, because Atmakarka is such an important part of one's life. He is a person's very essence of being. Mithunam chakate tasmin मिथुनां च गते तस्मिन् खण्डव्याधि खण्डवादि व्यासंभः Kandu etc. Vyasam. So basically some charma rogas, some skin diseases are possible if he is in the Mithuna Amsha. So why Mithuna Amsha? Mithuna is shown by Mithri. Mithri is for skin etc. So bottom line is, don't say just because he is in Mithuna, don't say that the person will have skin diseases. May not be. Mithuna shows so many things. He may be a great communicator. There will be so many qualities. But one possibility that Parashara mentioned, so that you can expand further on this, is there is a possibility of skin diseases. Which Amsha he is probably referring to here? What is your guess? Navamsha? Does Navamsha show diseases? Probably not. If Navamsha, Atmakarka is in Mithuna, Mithuna shows diplomatic, being nice with everybody. So it probably shows somebody who deals in marital life as well as in relations with other people, somebody who is very knowledgeable and who is very talkative, who can talk to all people, different kinds of people, and have a good relationship. That's probably what Atmakarka being in Mithunamsha, in Navamsha shows. He's probably talking about, could be Rashi, but Rashi is body, but probably D30. Parashara never mentioned D6, so let's ignore D6 for now. Trimshamsha, he said, shows all the punishments, evil, suffering, etc. So maybe he's talking about Atmakarka being in Mithuna. So now even for Taurus, you can see what kind of bad results may be given. Trimshamsha shows suffering, diseases, suffering, evil, sins, punishment of sins. So the nature of the sign you can see, and then you can, from that you can say this kind of punishment is possible for this person.
But that is the subconscious.
Pardon me?
Similar kind of sloka was in Gemini Upadesh Sutra.
Okay.
These are just in Navamsha.
Did he specifically say Navamsha?
It was translated
Right, that's what I am saying. Gemini is even more abstract. Bottom line is, Parashara is at least speaking, Gemini is like words. He just says totally disjoint words, which basically have no meaning, and then you are connecting the dots. In this case, you don't even have to connect the dots. He is actually connecting the dots, he is making a shape. But the thing is, you have to color the shape. So it's a smaller challenge, but still it's a challenge. But if you actually approach it logically, in the beginning he defined Amshas. He said there are 16 Amshas. And he said, this Amsha is for marriage, this Amsha is for diseases, suffering, this Amsha is for learning, this Amsha is for vehicles, this Amsha is for happiness. Like that he said, which Amsha is what. Later he is saying, if Atmakarka is in Gemini Amsha, this is the result. Taurus Amsha, this is the result. Now based on what kind of result he gave, is the result relating to learning, then the Amsha must be D24. Is the result relating to spiritual progress, it must be D20. Is the Amsha relating to vehicles, it must be D16. Is it relating to career, then it must be D10. It is as simple as that. When he doesn't say which Amsha, there is no need to assume it's Navamsha. There is absolutely no need. This is just because people were lazy or did not have enough time or enough resources to make all the Amsha charts, people started making only Rashi and Navamsha. Maybe a few hundred years back, or maybe a couple of thousand years back. People started making only Rashi and Navamsha. And once they started doing it, all rules basically started to be interpreted to mean Navamsha by Amsha. And then suddenly Amsha became Navamsha by default. If you don't say anything specific, unless you specifically say षोडशाamsha, it is Navamsha. That is an illogical assumption. If you read this book as such, by divorcing all the cultural connotations and connotations that came in the last few hundred years, if you read this book fresh, that is not the meaning that you will arrive at. But the bottom line is, see, you can have good intuition. Using intuition, you can come up with ideas, and then you can be a good scholar. You can theorize. You can read a book, and you can basically interpret it logically and say this is what Parashara is probably saying. But at the end of the day, a book that has been compiled by somebody in the last 100 years may have errors, and your intuition may have errors. So the thing is, none of this is 100% reliable. At the end of the day, the only thing you can rely on is practical research. What you really need is, of course, the few of you may not be able to do a lot of research, but the thing is, people who are listening to this now or people who will listen to this 10 years from now, they can, if they are motivated to do research, we can have a renaissance in Jyotish. What we really need is, take examples, have intelligent hypothesis, not just what people do is something has been taught by people in books. They just accept it as is. They don't question, and then they somehow convince themselves that it's working, even though it's not working. And then people remain in the darkness, and then it continues. What we really need is people to question things, take a fresh look, and then think logically, form good hypotheses, and then test it on examples. Now take a few examples of people who had skin diseases. See, is Gemini in the D30 having a role? Is Atmakarka there, or Atmakarka aspected by Mercury, or some planet in Mithuna aspecting Atmakarka? Like that. Is there some link between Mithuna and Atmakarka in D30? Similarly, in D16, is there a link between Atmakarka and Taurus? So like that, basically you can understand what it means without making assumptions based on what other people are thinking. You can think for yourself without any assumptions, see what it could mean, and then you have to be a little flexible. Maybe Atmakarka in Taurus is not the only thing. Atmakarka in Taurus or some planet in Taurus are aspecting Atmakarka. So generalize it a little bit, make it a little bit flexible, and construct a rule, and then test the rule on several examples. So then at the end of it, if you don't find something useful, reject it. There's absolutely no hurry to come up with theories or come up with some hi-fi knowledge. There's no need. If it is correct, let's basically spread it. If it is incorrect, we don't have, we gain nothing by spreading more confusion. There is enough confusion in the world, Jyotish world. So anyway, that is basically the need of the hour. Mithunam se gate tasmin Vyadisambhavaha. Okay. So skin diseases is in Mithuna. The next, Karkam se jaladbhitihi simham se swapadadbhayam. Karkam se jaladbhitihi. Pardon me? Yeah. Karkam se jaladbhitihi. What does it mean?
Fear from water.
Yeah, fear from water. There is a danger from water. Some kind of ganda from water. Maybe the person can drown in water, can be dead in water. Some kind of jalgandam is possible if Atmakarka is in Karkamsha, in Canceramsha.
Bhiti means just fear only.
Bhiti means danger from. You can say either fear or danger from. Simhamse, Swapadadbhayam. If it is Simhamsha, then danger from wild animals like lions and tigers.
Basically, nature of the how it is doing.
Nature of the sign. Based on the nature of the sign, there is either problems or blessings relating to what is shown by that sign. Okay? Now, the next one. Kandu thaulyam cha kanjam se, Kandu thaulyam cha kanjam se, Tatha vahnikanad bhayam. Okay. Kanduhu means having skin problems. Thaulyam cha means fat. Fat is basically having lot of earthy element in the body. And Kanya is owned by Mercury. It is Gemini is also owned by Mercury, right? Gemini and Kanya are both owned by Mercury, but Kanya is a Bhutat Parasi. Taurus, Virgo and Capricorn are Bhutat Parasis. Whereas Gemini is Aries sign. So even though it's owned by a earthy planet, it's an Aries sign. So it's not mentioned. But in the case of Kanya, this is the earthiest sign because it's an earthy sign and owned by an earthy planet. So it can show being very fat. So Thaulyam means fat, being fat. And Kandu, why skin problems? Again, Mercury shows skin. So some problems relating to skin and also some problems relating to fatness are possible. Kanyamse. If the Atmakarka is in Kanya Amsha, in the Virgo Amsha. Tatha vahnikanad bhayam, and also fear from fire. There is a fire from fear. There is a fear from fire. Why fear from fire? I'm actually not 100% sure why, but probably because the two fiery planets, Mars and Sun, they basically happen to be malefics from Virgo. One is 12th lord, the other is 8th lord. So both the fiery planets being malefics may show some problem with the fire.
So here he is referring to natal, right, Rashi. Physical level is talking about to fact.
Yes, maybe.
Not even any amsa.
Huh?
He is not even talking about any amsa now.
He may be, because he is still talking about, see, being fat is not necessarily, it is a physical thing, but it is also a problem in your constitution because of some sin that you have done before. So, whether it's skin problem or being fat, it could be seen in some of the divisional charts, for example, Trinsamsa or Shashtamsa. Because he specifically said Amsa, he may not be talking about Rashi. All these may be different Amsas. Then the next one is Tulam Secha Vanigjato Vastradi Nirmito Vastradi must be Vastradi Nirmito Patuhu Vastradi Nirmito. Yeah, there is some error here, but we get the concept. There is a grammatical mistake. There is some small error, but we understand it. Tulam Secha Vanigjato. In the Amsa Tula, who's born? A Vanik. A businessman is born. So he's saying Apkarga in Tula shows business. Huh?
Venus was
Yeah, Venus, and also is the seventh house of natural zodiac.
Libra.
Seventh house is the house of business.
Right.
Libra is balancing. It's weighing. So, and diplomacy. So that being the natural zodiac seventh house, it shows business. Tula is the most important sign for business. Now he is talking about business. That is a person's profession. So that must be Dasamsa. D10. In D10, if Atmarga is in Tula, then it is result, in my opinion. Again, this is open for debate and open for verification. But the thing is, looking at this logically, looking at this book logically, that is the only thing I can come up with. Vastradi Nirmitau Patuhu. Vastradi, let's say Vastradi Nirmane Patuhu. Vastradi, okay, whatever. I won't attempt to correct it, but there is an error. There is a grammatical error. It basically means in creation, in building clothes, etc. Patu means he is very skilled. So somebody is skilled in creating things, especially clothes, that kind of things. In other words, articles of use, articles of luxury, aesthetic articles like jewelry, clothes, etc. Somebody who is in decoration, somebody who is skillful in decorating things and creating decorative things. Because that is again shown by Venus and Libra. Okay? Alyam se sarpato bhitihi pida matu payodhare. Alyam se, Ali means? Insect, yeah. So that is basically scorpion. In Scorpio Amsa, sarpato bhitihi means?
Fear from snakes, danger from snakes.
Huh?
Danger from snakes.
Danger from snakes. Pida, sarpato bhitihi, danger from snakes. Pida matu payodhare. Pida matu payodhare. Pida means trouble. From matu means mother. Payodhare means, payas means milk, dhara means wearing. So wearing milk means breast basically. Problem from mother's breast. So what does that mean? So basically in young age, not being nourished properly. That is what it means. Because in a young age, very young age, the natural food, the recommended food for infants is mother's milk. So problem from mother's breast means he is not fed properly when the person is young. So so basically at a very young age, infancy, problem with nourishment. That is shown by Scorpio. And also Alyam shows, and also snakes, problem from snakes. And snake is a very generic term. It may not be just snake. It may be snakes, insects, or scorpions, and that kind of things basically. So anything that is shown by Scorpio. So from those there is a problem. The next one is dhanuramse kramaduchat patanam vahanadapi.
The mother's milk, because of age, is Scorpio, 8th house is the natural.
Okay. Scorpio is the natural fourth, 8th house of the zodiac. So,
From Scorpio,
yeah.
now I'm trying to figure out why this is divide of like mother's milk divide of.
One thing is the karaka of mother moon is debilitated there. Basically, mother is not in a, it is a sign where mother is not really happy. So that's controlling his life. If Atmakarka is there, that controls his life in that area of life as shown by that divisional chart. So, if mother is not really, basically there is some problem with the mother. So, not being fed properly at a young age is one possibility. The other possibility simply may be not having amicable relations with mother. That is also a possibility. Right, if you generalize it. Okay. The next one. Dhanuramse kramaduchat. Dhanuranse kramaduchat patanam vahanadapi. Dhanuranse kramaduchat patanam vahanadapi. In the Sagittarius Amsha, kramat uchchat patanam vahanadapi. So, there is a danger of falling from height or from a vehicle. Falling from a vehicle. Basically, some kind of fall. And Sagittarius is supposed to show fall. So, if Atmakarka is in Sagittarius, there is a chance of either fall from height or fall from a vehicle. Okay. Why does Sagittarius show problem with vehicle, falling from vehicle or problem with vehicle? Basically accident. Why does it show accident? Yeah. From the 4th house of natural zodiac Cancer, this is the 6th house of accident. Moreover, the Karaka for 4th house, vehicles, who is he? Venus. And Jupiter is enemy of it. So this is owned by the enemy of the significator of vehicles. And in the natural sign of zodiac, this is the 6th house of accidents from 4th house. So Sagittarius it signifies basically just as a sign, but you have to pay attention. It could be the 4th house in a chart or 9th house in a chart, then nothing will happen. So this
Jupiter could be your Atmakarka.
Yeah. So you have to, you can't just go by thumb rules, but the thumb rule is Sagittarius can show accidents. So if Atmakarka is in Sagittarius, there is a chance of accident. Now, the next one is Makaramse jalodbhutair jantubhih kecharasthatha shankhamukta pravalajay labho bhavati nischitah. Okay. Makaramse. If the Amsa is Makara, jalodbhutaih jantubhih means jalodbhutaih jantubhih. What does it mean? Huh? Right. Jala udbhutaihi. Jala means water, udbhutaihi means having come from. So, and jantubhi means animals. So, animals which are from water, like animals which reside in water, like crocodiles, different kinds of fish, seals, this kind of things. Jalodbhutaihi jantubhi khecharasthatha. Khecharaisthatha it should be, not khecharasthatha. Khecharaisthatha means that live in the sky. So birds basically, either from birds or animals residing in water. From those what? Danger or what? What he's saying is Shankhamukta pravalajyaihi. Shankhamukta pravalajyaihi. Shankha means conch, mukta means pearls. So basically pravala means red coral. So Shankhamukta pravalajyaihi. Conches, pearls, corals, etc. Basically all things that come from ocean. Conches come from ocean, pearls and red corals are actually from ocean reefs. So basically either animals or gems having to do with ocean, having to do with water. From them what? Danger or profit? Because he mentioned gems, you probably guessed that it is labha. He said labha, not danger, labha. So there is profit from those. Now, can there also be danger from watery animals? Of course. They can be. Because Capricorn also shows Makara. It also shows crocodile. There can be danger from crocodile, but in a corresponding chart. If D30 has Atmagarga in Makara, maybe danger from watery animal, from crocodile or other watery animals, or fish, etc., or whales, etc. But now he is talking about gains. Maybe he is talking about the chart that shows career, or the chart that shows fortune like D4, or wealth like D2. So suppose somebody has Atmagarga in Makara, let us say in the D4.
Good traveling careers and moving from one place to
Yes, it is also possible. Yes, exactly. So Makara's influence will show gains, provided you are looking at an Amsa that shows gains, that shows all the fortune. So he will gain and have fortune from all these things, by selling gems, by selling animals, watery animals, by selling birds, etc. Bhavati Nischitaha, definitely, happens definitely. So the thing is, the bottom line is, if you look at the cross-section of readings given here, he's talking about mother, things with mother, he's talking about gains, fortune, he's talking about danger, mortal danger, he's talking about career, like businessman. So he's talking about the results which are seen in various amsas based on his previous guidelines. So it makes no sense to think that all these are relating to just one chart, like Navamsa or one particular amsa. That does Ashashtamsa. It doesn't make sense. So he's talking about something else. Okay. Kumbhamse cha tatagadi karako jayate janah. Kumbhamse tatagadi karako jayate janah. It is printed as tatagadi. It should be tatakadi. Tatakadi karako jayate janah. If it is in Kumbhamsa, Aquarius amsa, then Tatakadi karakaha jayate janaha. Tatakadi karakaha means one who causes, one who makes, one who creates tatakas, etc. What is tataka? Ponds, lakes, big wells, reservoirs. He will basically build things, storage, the stored water. So he will have things to do with, he may have a business or work relating to water bodies. Could be a chemist also, right? Who will create different chemicals, etc. Different things having to do with water, having to do with liquids, creation of liquids. But Aquarius being a Rahu-owned sign, it can show some philosophy or some technology, etc. So instead of just being somebody who's selling pearls, etc., this may be somebody who's creating watery things. Or maybe somebody who creates an amusement park with water theme. So many possibilities are there, but the bottom line is some creation because of Rahu and some water because of Aquarius. Pardon me?
Saturn for construction.
Yes, that too. Good logic, very good. मीनाम से कारके जातो मुक्ति भाग द्विजसत्तमा. मीनाम से कारके जातो mukti bhag द्विजसत्तमा. If the karka is in Meena amsa, in the amsa of Meena, mukti bhag द्विजसत्तमा, he gets. Mukti bhag means one in whose bhagya mukti is. So one who is fortunate to get moksha. So if Atmagarga is in Meena, then he gets moksha. Of course, again you have to take with a pinch of salt. Now, which chart will show moksha or some progress towards moksha? Definitely Vimshamsa, because he said that is the chart for spiritual progress. So this must be this particular line. All other lines are other charts, but this specific line is having to do with Vimshamsa. Okay. At the same time, if the Atmagarga is, let's say, in Scorpio Amsa, maybe somebody will do different tantras, etc. If he is in Karkataka, for example, Karkataka is a watery sign, Cancer, emotional sign, maybe he will be into Bhakti Yoga. Like that, basically, depending on where the Atmagarga is in various signs in the D20, the person may have a different attitude relating to spiritual progress. Okay? न शुभम शुभ संदृष्टे न शुभम पाप वीक्षिते न शुभम शुभ संदृष्टे. If Shubhagraha is aspecting, if a functional benefic is aspecting, na ashubham. There is no inauspicious result. Because he gave so many inauspicious results here. He says, whatever inauspicious results I have given, they don't apply. Similarly, na shubham papa vikshite. If a functional malefic is aspecting, he only said aspecting, but it could also be conjoining or aspecting. Then na shubham. All the good results like making a lot of profits from crocodiles, etc., it doesn't happen. The person doesn't make profits. Okay? It may actually be the reverse. It may be making loss. कारकांशे शुभे विप्रा लग्नांशे शुभग्रहे शुभ संवीक्षिते जातो राजा भवति निश्चितः कारकांशे शुभे विप्रा. In the Karakamsha, a benefic planet is there. Lagnamshe Shubhagrahe. In the Lagna Samsha, also a Shubhagraha is there. In both Atmakaraka and Lagna, in the divisional chart, a benefic planet is there. Shubhasam Vikshite Jato. And also a benefic planet is aspecting. Jato, Raja Bhavati Nishchitaha. He becomes a king. He is very successful. He is very fortunate. Now, which divisional chart is it talking about? I am not sure. I haven't really studied a lot of charts of kings or powerful people. But you can study the charts of powerful people and see, is Navamsha showing this? Navamsha, Parasara never said is Bhagya. It is Dharma and it is marriage. And Bhagya, fortune is shown in D4. And D10 shows your career. And even though Parasara did not teach, we see that Panchamsha, D5, shows political power enjoyed by politicians. So, you can try these charts and see if Atmakaraka, Karakamsha and Lagnamsha, if Atmakaraka and Lagna in any of these charts is occupied by benefics, aspected by benefics, etc. in the charts that you see. Like, if you take powerful people in the world, there are so many powerful people that you have access to. You have charts of. So, do a little bit of research and see which is working better. But the thing is, in my opinion, the question of whether you should see in the Amsha itself or transpose that in the Rashi chart, that is irrelevant. Talk about Amsha, so consider Amsha. Take the Amsha. And then see. But the thing is, it doesn't rule out that if you take the, let's say, the Bhagyamsha, the Chaturthamsha of the Atmakaraka, put it in Rashi and see which planets are in Rashi, in that sign in the Rashi chart. That is also tenable because even though we have this notion in our minds that there is a Navamsha chart, there is a Dashamsha chart, there is a Chaturthamsha chart, there is a Rashi chart. Parasara never said there are these charts. There is only one chart. There is only one Aries, one Taurus, one Gemini, one Cancer, one Leo in the skies. This is the chakra, the Bhachakra. This is the only chart that we have. And what we have is, we have a Sun, Moon, Mars, Mercury, etc. placed at various points in this zodiac, in this physical zodiac that you can see. And these planets are physical planets that you can see in the sky. Now, the abstract representations, the Navamsha of Mars, the Dashamsha of Jupiter, the Vimshamsha of Saturn. So all these are points, abstract points, which you derive from the physical points. And then you say, the Vimshamsha of Saturn is in Taurus at so-and-so degrees. The Dashamsha of Jupiter is in Libra at 21 degrees 8 minutes. So again, all these are placed in one chart only. So even though for convenience, we are looking at all the Navamshas of all planets together, all the Dashamshas of all planets together and judging them, there is nothing that precludes you from putting them all, plotting all of them in one chart. But it will be difficult to see, that is why we don't do it. But the thing is, if you do that, what will you find? Maybe when you see the 10th Lord in the Dashamsha, 10th Lord Dashamsha in a particular chart, right? Maybe he is very close to the Siddhamsha of a particular planet who shows one particular kind of knowledge. Maybe he is using that knowledge in the career. Maybe that is how, maybe there can be proximity in terms of longitude also. If you look at divisional longitude, maybe a planet in Dashamsha is at 21 degrees Libra. Maybe a planet is at 21 degrees Aries or 22 degrees Aries and aspecting closely. In some other divisional chart, maybe in Bhagyamsha, D4. Maybe that shows having a career abroad, or maybe that shows being fortunate in career. So all these things are there. So many correlations that we have never exposed between various divisional charts. These are not really a matter of fiction. These are all quite valid to pursue. And one thing I will say, based on my researches in the last few years, is The concept of divisional longitudes, I have only explored a small portion of it. There is a wealth of knowledge waiting to be discovered using the concept of divisional longitudes and correlations between various divisional charts, between transits and natal chart, Tithi and natal chart, Jataka and natal chart, etc. Doing various kinds of correlations of divisional longitudes between various charts. There is going to be a lot of things found in the coming years. That is my prediction. That is my expectation. And so look at the divisional longitudes and see, compare various divisional charts and see what is going on. Okay. So anyway, coming back to this point, if Atmakarka, let us say, is in somebody's Atmakarka is in Cancer, let us say, in Vimshamsa, in the chart of spiritual work. Okay. Now, from that Cancer, in the Rashi chart, there may be a lot of planets, let's say in the 10th house. So he may be, as a part of his spiritual progress, he may be doing a lot of work in the society. He may be teaching people a lot of things. He may be doing a lot of rituals going to people and doing a lot of rituals, etc. So, if you take the Atmakarka in the Vimshamsa, place him in the Rashi chart and see which planets are in the 10th house, which planets are in the 5th house, which planets are in 12th house, which planets are aspecting it, etc. You may get some important clues regarding what's happening physically relating to that aspect of life. So that is also relevant. And in the divisional chart also it may be relevant. Because which Vimshamsas are interacting with that Vimshamsa. We are taking Atmakarka's Vimshamsa. Which other Vimshamsas are interacting with? Moon's Vimshamsa is interacting. Jupiter's Vimshamsa is interacting. In what way? And what is the result? There may be a result given based on it. But apart from Vimshamsas, Moon himself directly, the physical Moon and physical Jupiter, physical Venus, may be interacting with the Vimshamsa of Atmakarka. That also has a relevance. So bottom line is, what Kendra is saying may also have worth in it. He may have studied some interesting things in some charts and jumping to some conclusions. And what Pandit Sanjay Rath studied may also have worth in it. And neither of them may actually be seeing the full truth. There may be much more there. Instead of just taking Atmakarka and Navamsha and either taking Navamsha or his placement in Rashi and seeing the chart. Maybe you can do the same thing with Vimshamsha, Dashamsha, Bhagyamsha, Chaturthamsha and so on. Maybe there is a lot of things waiting to be discovered there. Okay? So I want you guys to actually, not just you guys, because you guys have limited time, you guys are not too many, but there are many people listening to the audio. So I want people to actually start digging into things. The bottom line is, if we are totally in darkness, then we are lost. There is no point in doing any research. But the thing is, if we are on the verge of light, if we are in darkness, but there is some light you can see at distance. This BPHS, Brihat Parasar Horasashram, is that. It is a guiding light at a distance. You can see. You can see that there is some light there. So you can actually try to walk towards that light. And compared to just using your intuition and coming up with some random ideas, it's a good idea to listen to a Rishi and contemplate what he is saying and form intelligent hypothesis and try out. The next verse is Swansat Shubhagraha Kendre Kode Va Papavajjitah Dhana Vidyayuto Jato Mishra Phalam Vadet. Swansat Shubhagraha Kendre is from Swa Amsa. Could mean Lagna Amsa or Atmakarka Amsa, but we will take it as Atmakarka Amsa. It's from the Atmakarka Amsa. Shubhagraha, benefic planets, functional benefic planets. Kendre Koneva Papavajjitah. Kendre Koneva. Either in quadrants or in trines. So in quadrants or trines from the Atmakaraka, there are functional benefic planets. Papavajjitaha, without any functional malefic planets. Only benefic planets and no malefic planets. Dhana Vidya Ito Jataha. He has wealth, knowledge, etc. Mishra Phalam Vadet. If it is mixed, then mixed results. So you see quadrants and trines from the Atmakaraka, and then based on how well they are placed, whether good or bad planets are placed there, the person will be either very successful or unsuccessful, or in the middle. Upagrahe cha viprendra swotya swarksha subhakshage पापदृग्रहिते चान्त्ये कैवल्यं तस्य निर्दिशेत्. उपग्रहे. This is interesting. Upagrahe to Uttarendra. Oh great, oh Indra among Brahmins, oh great Brahmin. Upagrahe cha. If an Upagraha is there, not a benefic or function, malefic planet, but an Upagraha. Socha Svarksha Siddharkshage. Either occupying exaltation sign or own sign or Siddharkshage. This is very interesting. Okay, I'll just interpret it literally. I'll just give the literal meaning and I'll leave it to you to see what it means. So if an Upagraha is occupying either own sign or exaltation sign or a benefic sign. Basically Jupiter signs are benefic signs, Mars signs are benefic signs and so on. So either a benefic sign or an own sign or an exaltation sign is occupied by an Upagraha. Papa Drugrahite Chante, and there is no malefic aspects. Then Antye in the 12th house. So from Atmakarka in the 12th house an Upagraha is there in exaltation or own or benefic sign. Kaivalyam Tasyan Vishesh. Then the person will have moksha. So the thing, now why only Upagraha? Of course this applies to normal grahas also, obviously. Don't take it literally and say only Upagraha has to be there. Graha cannot be there. Bottom line what he is saying is, even an Upagraha, if it is well placed there, can give moksha. That is why how I read it. Now the only tricky point is, what are the exaltation and own signs of Upagrahas? Where is Mandi exalted? Where is Mrichu exalted? Where is Ardhaprahara exalted? Where is Yamakantaka exalted? We don't know. One possibility is, because they are all associated with one planet, like Upagraha, Mandi with Gulika with Saturn, Ardhaprahara with Mercury, right? Yamakantaka with Jupiter, Mrichu with Mars, Kala with Sun, and so on, right? Yeah. So you can go back and see the definitions. So maybe you can take the sign of the corresponding planet, the exaltation or known sign of the corresponding planet. That is one possibility. The other possibility is, I'm not sure if Parashara defined the exaltation. I don't remember seeing it. But when we go through the Upagraha chapter, we'll see if he defined them. It is also possible that he defined them, but the knowledge is lost. So that is a problem. But what he is saying is, either a planet or even an Upagraha, without any malefic aspect, he is in the 12th house from Atmakarka, and he is well placed, either in a benefic sign or own sign or exaltation sign. Then still the person will make good spiritual progress, and at the end he will reach Kaivalya. Kaivalya means not exactly moksha, but kind of moksha. Kaivalya means it comes from Kevala. It can either mean moksha, or it can mean being part of one devata, or going to one devata and staying with one devata. Maybe going to Vaikuntha and stay with Vishnu for the rest of that Vishnu stuff, or maybe go to Sivaloka and stay for the rest of that Shiva stuff with that Shiva, and so on. So that kind of things are also possible. Basically, Kaivalya literally means Kevala. It comes from the word Kevala. Kevala means singular, oneness. But the thing is, that doesn't necessarily mean merging in Brahman. Even if you merge with, let's say, even if you have the Saija or Vishnu or Shiva, that is a kind of oneness. It's not really, at that level, it's not really duality. So, being one with a higher deity can also be interpreted as Kaivalya. So bottom line is either moksha or something very close to moksha. So with that we will end for today, and we finished up to 11 verses, page 328. So remember that, and we start with verse 12 in the next class. Why? Who said Atmakarka is moksha only?
In the past, some of my interpretation, my
Okay.
understanding was, from Atmakarka we see only moksha or any
No.
spiritual things, but he is talking about gains.
Gains, yeah. See, Okay, so his question is, from Atma, his impression is, Atmakaraka shows moksha, spirituality, etc. We see only that kind of things from Atmakaraka. Why is he talking about all the fear from animals, gains, etc. from Atmakaraka? That is his question. Now, Atmakaraka is not just moksha. Atmakaraka is, the way I interpret, Parashara basically said, Atmakaraka is the king of the horoscope, king of a nativity. If you consider a nativity to be a kingdom, he is the king. And if you take your own existence as a kingdom, who is the king there? Who controls everything? Your very sense of I, your I-ness, your ego basically, your ego sense. In Vedantic terms, ego sense. Your sense of this is I. There is a definition, this is I. A person who looks like this, who does this, who is on earth. You are just Brahman. But the thing is, you have a particular awareness. So that awareness, that self-awareness is Atmakaraka. And then Lagna is body. That is one part of your self-awareness. Your self-awareness identifies with body. But that is not the entire ego sense. Ego sense is not just body. It is more than body. So in my reading, Atmakaraka shows that I-ness. What in Vedanta we call as I-ness or ego sense. So that is shown by Atmakaraka. So now what does that do? That makes you do all the things. If you think I am a great astrologer, you will go and teach astrology. If you think I need knowledge, you will pursue knowledge. If you think you need to spread a particular pranayama in the world, you will spread that pranayama. If you think you need happiness, you will pursue happiness. Whatever you pursue, whatever you reject, is because of your sense of this is I, this is what I want. So that is why that I-ness is the most fundamental thing in the horoscope. It is the king of your existence. And now, of course, moksha is seen from it, because what is moksha? Letting that I-ness go. There is no definition of I. There is only, you become part of Brahman only if your I-ness, your limited I-ness disappears. Even not just part of Brahman, part of Atman, but even to reach a higher loka, you have to basically let your limited ideas of who you are go. So from that point of view, the letting go of the I-ness, that is moksha. So that is why 12th house of giving, letting go from Atmakaraka is seen from moksha. But the thing is, 12th house is not the only house you see from Atmakaraka. You can see 5th house, 8th house, 9th house, all the houses, 2nd house. So when you see all those houses, you are looking at various aspects of that I-ness. And the thing is that I-ness, when it is on the verge of being destroyed, when the person is on the verge of moksha, then the 12th from it becomes important. Otherwise, that I-ness will lead you to do various things. It may lead you to a big war where millions of people are killed.
You see, even Rajayoga from Atma.
That is the other thing. Parashara defined Rajayogas, several Rajayogas, Atmakaraka and Putrakaraka being together or separately in the 1st and 5th house is Maharaj Yoga. And you see that horoscope in material kings, not just, some people may say, oh, that Maharaj Yoga shows a great various sadhus are called Maharaj, right, like Nareshwar Maharaj. So somebody may interpret that the Maharaj Yoga is for that kind of Maharaj. Not really. You see kings and presidents and prime ministers having that yoga. So for material things also Atmakaraka is important. When Atmakaraka, the I-ness associates with material things, you get material things. When it associates with God, you get God. It is, Atmakaraka is the one who binds you. Parashara specifically says, Bandhana Moksha Karaka, he says. He is the one, maybe not the right word, but something like that he says. He says, Atmakaraka is the one who binds a person and also who liberates a person. So, it is your sense of this is I which binds you. You think this is I, then you are limited to that idea. If you somehow succeed in letting that notion disappear, then you are everything. Then you are something else. Something that is more joyous.
In a particular part, one particular house in Samsara, can we basically derive a positive assumption from that, saying that he might be interested in that part of Samsara?
Yes, you can.
So if
as far as Upasana is concerned. For example, you are thinking along the right lines in my judgment. let's say the 10th house from Atmakarka is very strong. 12th is not particularly strong, but 10th house, let's say, is very strong. 10th is what? The karma that you do. So, as far as, and what is D20? Spiritual, upasana, and how you progress. And people always are under the impression that upasana or spiritual progress only means sitting and meditating. Not necessarily. Anything, any action you do, you can use it to progress. Bottom line is, what is progress? It is disappearance of the I-ness or limiting of the I-ness. So that can happen by serving others. It can happen by doing meditation, by doing homam. It can happen through many things. It can happen through writing Jyotish books. Somebody may be so dedicated to Jyotish. His spiritual guru may have asked him to, for example, K.N. Rao. His guru asked him long back when he did not want to do astrology. His guru asked him, you have to do astrology. So for him, astrology is his worship. So if he is dedicated to astrology and sees it as something that he needs to do, then you can make spiritual progress through that also. Or suppose you are a scientist and you want to crack one puzzle, and then you are so dedicated to it, you forget about your body, you forget about everything. And then if you succeed in that achievement, not making you egoistic, instead making you surrender before nature, appreciate how beautiful the nature is, and you find some real great secret like E equals MC square or something like that, then that can be your spiritual progress also, right? So anyway, coming back to the point, let's say somebody's 10th house from Atmakarka is very strong. So 10th house is karma, and Atmakarka is I-ness. His I-ness needs to exert in the world through action, and that is how he will make spiritual progress. And what kind of actions? That may be relating to the planets and signs there.
If not in this life, slowly the progression would be towards the 12th house, and that is
Towards,
everything.
exactly. Progression is towards the 12th house. But right now the focus may be something else.
So it need not be for every person. You have to focus on the 12th house. You have your particular focus that you have to concentrate on.
In my judgment, exactly. In my judgment, suppose somebody's 9th house or 10th house is very strong, or 6th house is very strong. So it's actually not at all a bad idea to worship some deity related to that house, so that he can fulfill his. Suppose somebody's 6th house is strong, he has to do service. Suppose somebody's 9th house is strong, maybe he has to build a temple. So once he does that karma, not everybody is destined for moksha in this life. Parashara never said, look at the 12th house from Atmakarka and suggest the devata for worship to people. He never said that. What he said is, if 12th house is strong and Ketu is there with so-and-so planet, then he will get moksha through so-and-so devata. If Sun and Ketu are in 12th from Atmakarka, he will get moksha through Shiva. If Moon and Ketu are in 12th from Atmakarka, he will get moksha through Parvati, Gauri. He is talking about Ketu being there. So basically somebody is close to moksha. Then he is saying, this is the deity who will give moksha. But not everybody can get moksha, not everybody is close. If somebody is already in Delhi, you basically tell them, yeah, take so-and-so Sarfarjang street or so-and-so street you take, then you go to Rashtrapati Bhavan. But somebody is not in Delhi, let's say, somebody is in Chennai, don't tell him, take a cab to Safdarjung Road or whatever. Tell him, take a flight to Delhi first. So, or somebody is living in a village, then take a train to the nearest big city. So, like that basically. So in my judgment, instead of just focusing on the so-called Ishtadevata, look at the 12th lord from Atmakarka, and then worshipping him and hoping that he will trigger the chain of events. You may actually go with the stronger. Look at which house from Atmakarka is really strong, and then based on that, maybe you can suggest somebody maybe has a strong Mars in the 10th house from Atmakarka. So he has to do a lot of work in the society. Like maybe in his case, there is a big guru who is starting an ashram. All he has to do is maybe do some organizational work with the guru. Maybe he is not meant for moksha this life, but maybe he is meant for a lot of organizational work for his guru's ashram, because 10th house is strong. Or maybe in another person's case, 6th house is strong, let's say. Maybe he is just meant to serve. So just go to some ashram and serve the people there, do the dishes there, mow lawn there, clean the idols. So maybe just serve like that. Or maybe somebody's 7th house is strong. Maybe do the PR for an ashram or for a temple. Maybe deal with people. on behalf of a religious organization or whatever. So like that, there may be, depending on which house is strong, maybe that throws light on what is the path for that I-ness. He has an I-ness. See, the thing is, if the 12th house is strong, that means his I-ness is ready to be dropped. But if 12th house is not strong, his I-ness is not ready to be dropped. The person is egoistic. So, you basically channel that ego by, see, there are great Swamijis, great ashrams, but do you think that the organizers who are running those ashrams are very pure, simple people? They may act pure, they may act simple, but in their minds they may be like, oh, I'm doing great work, I'm a great person, they may be thinking. Right? Many people are actually like that. Many people, they may be doing great karma, but they may be proud about it. Which means the 12th from their Atmakarka is not ready to be activated anytime soon. The 10th from their Atmakarka is ready to be activated. The karma that they do, or the 6th house they do, or the 7th house, those are the houses, or the 9th house. These are the houses that are strong. So the person has a strong I-ness. And that I-ness is interested in a particular thing, 7th house or 6th house or 10th house or 9th house or 5th house, that kind of thing. So give it that. Let it basically do that. Then the karma, the whatever karmas the person, conditioning the person is carrying by engaging in that activity, it will basically be dissipated. And maybe a few lives later he will be born in a strong 12th house. So your point is a very intelligent point. So instead of habitually looking at the 12th from Atmakarka, it is actually a good idea to look at a strong planet and then give suggestion based on, you know what, maybe you should go and serve your Guru, or maybe you should do this, maybe you should mantra. Let's say 8th house is very strong, just do meditation, more meditation. 5th house is strong. 5th house, what is 5th house? Scholarship. So learn books. For somebody, he needs to read Puranas and say, oh, you know what, for this planet, this Bijakshara, for this Bijakshara. There is so much analysis given in Puranas. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really, all that, like Shankaracharya said, Samprapte Sandhite Kale Nahina Rakshate Dungrum Karne. So, at the end of the day, all that academic knowledge doesn't help you, all the scholastic knowledge doesn't help you. But there are some people who are so interested in that, they have to scholastically, academically study various Puranas, various Shastras, and then say, you know what, when you do so-and-so homam, for so-and-so mantra, when you do Chandi homam, when you do Sarvamangala Mangalya, Shive Sarvat Sarge, Saranye Tramke Gaur Narayana Namaste, you have to put the turmeric, right away, in Telugu we call Pastukomu, right? The turmeric stick, dry turmeric stick. So you have to put that. When you say Gajja Gajja Khanam Goda Madhujavat Pivamyaham, Mayatve, when you do that sloka, because it says Madhujavat Pivamyaham, while I read the Madhu, while I drink the Madhu, the honey. So when you do that, you have to honey as ahuti, not something else. Like that, there are so many things given in Purana, so many things given in Shastras. So when you do this verse, you have to do this particular ahuti. Or you have to, when you do this verse, you have to put this mudra or this mudra. Your fingers, so-and-so fingers should be crossed. So there are so many things like that, right? Shastras have so much knowledge. So somebody is focused on knowledge. But the thing is, by focusing on knowledge, there is this sense that I am doing the right thing, I am smart, I have correct knowledge. These people don't know what they are doing. I am doing the correct knowledge. At the end of the day, that obsession with the knowledge may actually be blocking that person. Maybe the idea of putting the right ahuti or doing the right procedure, there are so many things that bind rituals. When you do your meditation or homam, there are so many aspects that you can pay attention to. But the thing is, the idea of those is, everything is a symbol. You are focusing on one symbol, so you are eventually cutting off one conditioning in your mind. But for somebody who has so much conditioning, pursuing all these technical aspects, it is not taking them any closer to moksha, but they have to go through this step before they are born with a chart which shows moksha, which shows a strong 12th house. So bottom line is, what I'm saying is, not everybody is cut out for moksha. So don't just look at 12th house from Atmakarta, look at various things.
And that's when the Guru comes and they basically say that not everyone gets the same teaching from the same Guru.
Exactly, yeah. If Ramakrishna Paramhansa was there, one person he said, why are you so mild? He abused your Guru. If I were you, I would have killed that person. If you have cut the head, beheaded that person, he abused your Guru. How could you tolerate it? Another person, when he was in a boat and Ramakrishna was abused, he basically fought with them. You insulted your Guru. Those guys were cheap and they were insulting your Guru. You also stooped to their level and you fought with them. And then you basically lowered your Guru's name by engaging in a fight with such cheap people. What a disservice you did to me, he said. So one person who has a lot of inbuilt anger, he wanted him to control the anger. So he basically made him calmer. One person who was very different, very mild, he wanted him to be a little bolder. So to that person he said, you have to fight for your Guru. So you can teach different things to different people. This is where, if you have a real Guru, if you have a Sadguru, if you have a Guru who is enlightened, he will know exactly what your strengths and weaknesses are. And then he will guide you accordingly.
Without even knowing...
Without knowing the horoscope. But the thing is, for many people do not have a Sadguru and they expect astrologer to play the role of a Sadguru, we can attempt to do that. And what we need to do that is, we need to actually do a little bit of more study, more practical research, and then consolidate our knowledge. And then hopefully a decade from now, we can actually guide people well using astrology, even without a Sadguru. So I'll restart the recording for the practical stuff. Okay, we'll see an example, but before we see an example, we have a question. Yes?
In 7.4 and 7.33, the major discrepancy that we have observed, in my, for example, I've taken my Navamsa chart,
Okay.
and my Dasamsa chart, my
Yeah.
D24.
Okay.
The Rahu and Ketu placements have actually moved from one sign to the previous sign.
Uh-huh.
Completely moved.
Uh-huh.
With a major change in the degrees too.
Okay.
So is
A
there
couple of degrees. But check if you are, see that I have not changed the defaults to
I'm
north.
using your...
Yeah, if you use my recommended settings, you will see a discrepancy. If you, in 7.4, if you basically use your previous settings, you shouldn't see any changes in any calculations. 7.33 and 7.4, Jagannath Hora 7.33 and 7.4 should be identical if you use the same settings that you were using earlier. But if you use the author recommended settings, so now Jagannath Hora 7.4 has two settings. One is default settings, which is the same as before. The other is author recommended settings. These are not the default settings. The thing with default settings is I tend not to change them. Lahiri is default. If I change it to Jagannatha, for example, people will say, oh, all the calculations are changed, my Vimshottridasha dates have changed, now I am in trouble. People are used to their Vimshottridasha of Jupiter starting on February 4th. And suddenly if you tell them, no, it may be February 8th, they will be uncomfortable. They are so used to it because some event happened on that day, or something like that. Bottom line is, it's unreliable. The exact dates you can never be sure unless you rectify it perfectly. And if you rectify it perfectly using a wrong Ayanamsha, it's not really good. But in any case, I don't want to rock the apple cart. I don't want to cause trouble to people. So I tend to keep, after experimenting a little bit with changing the defaults, I decided that it will be wiser for me to leave the defaults alone. So Lahiri Ayanamsha is the default, Sanjay Ji's Charakarkas are the default, sign based Arorpadas are the default. Like that, there are some defaults which were decided long back in Jagannath Hora. We will stick to them. So what I did is, now apart from those defaults, there will be my recommendations and they may evolve. Today I may recommend Jagannath Ayanamsha, tomorrow I may slightly modify it. Today I may recommend one kind of Charakarkas, tomorrow I may redefine it slightly. So other recommended settings may be slightly evolving, and at this point of time this is what I use, this is what I recommend. So the main differences are the Charakarka, I'll directly answer the question. Rahu and Ketu are changing by a couple of degrees, up to a couple of degrees. So that is because of mean versus true nodes. So mean nodes and true nodes. The default is mean nodes historically in Jagannath Hora, but my recommendation is true nodes. Mean nodes are just an abstract concept. If you are calculating eclipses, etc., we use true nodes. True nodes are actually defined. Mean nodes are just abstract, they don't really exist. But we preferred mean nodes earlier based on the logic that nodes are supposed to be retrograde always, and if you take true nodes, they are not retrograde always. So, but the thing is, nowhere in the classics it is said that at every second Rahu should be moving backwards. Overall he is backward moving. He may be moving a little forward sometimes, but overall he is backward moving. Now the thing is, somebody may ask, in that case, when you find Charkarkas, why do you take Rahu's longitude from the end of the sign? Because he may be moving forward sometimes, little bit. He moves a little forward and then back, little forward and then back. In that case, let's say a planet is retrograde and he entered a sign from the end of the sign in retrograde motion. We don't take from the end. So it is not based on how the planet has entered the sign recently. It is based on the long-term motion of the planet. Because Jupiter always moves forward overall, even though he is moving backward a little bit and then forward sometimes, we don't basically reckon his longitude in a different way. Same with Rahu. Even though he is sometimes moving forward, overall he is always moving backward, just like Jupiter is moving forward. So his reckoning is always done from the end of the same period. Nowhere it is mentioned that he should be always moving backward. And secondly, the concept of mean nodes is actually an abstract concept, and all the calculations like eclipses, etc., they basically are done using true nodes. Mean nodes have no relevance. So this is the logical aspect. The other aspect is practical. So when I was studying all these fine divisional longitude based principles, because if Rahu's longitude changes by, let us say, Rahu and Ketu's longitude changes by a couple of degrees in Rashi chart, in divisional chart it changes by a lot. Sometimes it may even change the sign in the divisional chart. So when I was doing this research on the divisional longitudes, and also there is another sensitive research which I don't want to mention, based on that also, I concluded that true nodes are the right nodes to use. So for the last couple of years, I personally, privately, I've been using true nodes, even though publicly I may have been sometimes using mean nodes. I think last year I switched publicly. When I started writing the articles, I switched to the true nodes publicly. So at this point of time, I use true nodes. I don't use mean nodes, and that is author's recommendation. That is one thing. The other is Jagannath Hayanamsha. So instead of Lahiri Hayanamsha, I use Jagannath Hayanamsha, but that causes very little difference. That causes a few arc seconds of difference, and sometimes maybe arc minutes of difference, and that should not really impact Rahu that much. But that can sometimes, on the border cases, that can be the one factor. But the main factor in the case of nodes is true versus mean nodes. If you want to use my settings, my recommended settings, but just make an exception for nodes, what you should do is go to preferences, related to calculations, and then planet calculation options. The last combo box there is true nodes. Mean nodes are always retrograde. The so-called true nodes are not. What do you prefer? So there, true nodes will be selected if you set the preferences based on my recommendation. So change it to mean nodes. Then you will match Jehora 7.33 in terms of nodes. But my recommendation is use true nodes. They are singing some Sai Bhajan there. Some lady here. The other room. Okay. So let us see some chart. So you wanted to see a chart. Give us the data.
June 20.
1 second. So can somebody turn it on meanwhile, or can you manage with the computers? We don't need
No, it is
the
on.
projector.
You had to change the.
No, it's not on.
It's
The
on.
light is, press the top button. Keep it pressed for a couple of seconds. Once it's green, then I have to do my thing. Okay. So what is the date?
June 20, 1963.
June 20, 1963,
10:20 a.m.
10:20 a.m.
Newsweed, India.
Mail, right? Yeah. Newsweed.
India.
Newsweed.
NUZ.
NUZVID. Newsweed, India. Okay.
A couple of months ago, he sold his house and he wants to know when he is buying a new house.
Okay, one second. Let me save it first. How should I save it?
Narasimha Reddy.
Okay. So the data is 1963, July 20, 10:20 a.m. Newsweed, India. NUZVID. 80 degrees 51 minutes east, 16 degrees 47 minutes north. Indian Standard Time, 5 hours 30 minutes of GMT. Amavasya, Ashada Amavasya, but there is Amavasya dosha in the chart. Huh?
It should be Leo with Mars.
It should be Leo with Mars. Is it 10:20 a.m.?
Yes, sir. It is Leo.
July or June?
July or June? June, right? I took June, that's right. Sorry, the month is June. June 20, 1963, 10:20 a.m. Newsweek, India. Indian Standard Time. Okay. So, it is not Amavasya dosha, but Chaturdashi dosha is there. Okay. Now, Lagna is at 8 degrees 58 minutes Leo, and Moon is at 17 degrees 8 minutes Taurus. So, Rohini third column. Very good. Let us see the chart. So, the question is, you said he sold house, right?
Yes.
When?
December 15th.
December 15, 2009.
Yes.
On December 15, 2009, he sold house. Okay. Now, where is he living? Where are you living now?
We are living in an apartment.
In an apartment. Living in an apartment now. And what is the plan? What is the question?
We're planning to buy a house this year.
Buy a house in 2010. So, when is a good time to buy a house this year? Okay. So, they sold their house and they want to buy a new house. What is a good time during this year? So, let us try to answer that. Okay, how do you see house? T4, right? D4 you see house. And now, what dasha is running? What is the applicable dasha in this chart?
Chaturdashi Samdesha.
Yeah.
10th Lord in 10th house.
The 10th Lord from Lagna is in the 10th house. Is he really in the 10th house? He is. The 10th Lord is in the 10th house. So we can use the Chaturdashi Samadasha, or we can just use the Vimshatri Dasha.
Either
So,
way he is running that only.
okay, good. So let us just use the Vimshatri for now. Using the Vimshatri Dasha, what is he running? Saturn Dasha. Saturn Dasha, Saturn Antardasha. Using the Chaturdashi Samadasha, started from, let's say, Lagna, instead of from Moon. If you start Chaturdashi Samadasha from Lagna, what is he running? He is running the Venus Dasha. And which Antardasha? He is running Venus Moon, but about to start Venus Mars. Okay.
Also, I never,
Considered, yeah.
no, I never rectified his chart.
You never rectified his chart. Oh,
Tried to-
hopefully it won't make a difference in this case because we are not going to use Hashyam Shah, all those. We are just
Dasha
using.
I should use it, but never figure it out.
Okay, that's okay. Dasha, if we just use moon based Vimshatri Dasha, it will at least show some clarity. So we'll just use moon based Vimshatri Dasha. And Chaturthamsa, we have a 6-minute leeway. So we should be fine. So even without rectification, I think we should be fine. But just for the heck of it, let's see, when did he get married? Marriage.
November 27, 1987.
1987.
87.
So November 27, 1987, he got married. November 27, 1987. Okay. What dasha was it? Based on Vimshatri. Let's go back to Vimshatri. It was Rahu dasha. 1987. So Rahu Venus dasha gave marriage. Is it possible if this is the chart?
Rahu,
Yeah. Is it possible at all?
all three.
What do you think?
Rahu is the 9th Lord.
Yeah. Rahu is the 9th Lord. And
He's in 12th Lord.
he is the UL Lord, using UL based on the longitude based things. He is the UL Lord in Navamsha, right? He is the UL Lord in Navamsha. He is the UL Lord in Navamsha. He is also the 9th Lord. And he has an aspect on the 7th house. He is in Lagna. He is actually in the 12th house. But we can't be 100% sure of it. But he does have an aspect on the 7th house. Right? So, Rahu Dasha, there is a chance of getting married. And why Venus Antardasha? Hmm?
He's a fifth lord.
So, fifth lord, so, was it a love marriage? Huh? So, why fifth lord? Could it be that he is just a Karaka and he is in own house?
Really in your own
Huh? He is in own sign, right?
own sign.
Yeah. He is actually on the cusp. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he is in the 11th house, housewise? But again, that is sensitive to the actual time. You change the time a little bit, he will be 11th or 12th. But if you give marriage, is he likely to be in the 11th house or 12th house? He is likely to be in the 11th house. So the longitude of the Lagna is probably after Venus longitude, the Navamsa. So that Venus is in the 11th house. So Venus in one side in the 11th house. 11th is fructification of desire, getting fruits in that area of life. So in the 11th house in one side, he can give marriage.
But very close to the bottom.
Yeah, he's on the border. So the thing is, had Lagna been a little earlier, he would actually be in the 12th house. So probably not. Lagna is a little later or at that time, but not before. Okay? Now, does the Tithi Pravesh make sense? He got married based on Tithi Pravesh, Tithi Ashtotri Dasha, on November 27, which is Mercury Dasha. If you make the Tithi Pravesh chart, for that year, it was November 27 is Mercury Dasha. Does Mercury show marriage? Assuming that this is right, this chart is right? Yeah. So it doesn't make sense. This is not adding up. Right? Mercury is the 5th and 8th lord in the 3rd house. He is not really showing, with a little change at the time, he could be instead of 3rd house, he could be in the 2nd house. Either case, 5th and 8th lord in 2nd or 3rd house with the 2nd and 11th lord. What is the rationale for him to give marriage? Very, very unlikely. On the other hand, let us say, how much do we need to add? 2 minutes 34 seconds. If we add that time and then make the Tithi Pravesh chart, now Lagna is in. So I basically took 8:33:46. 8 hours 33 minutes. Sorry, this is the Tithi Pravesh. 10:22:35. Instead of what was the time you got? 10:20.
10:20.
Instead of 10:20, I changed the time to 10:22:35. Then the Tithi Pravesh chart happens to have Mercury as the Hora Lord. He is the 7th Lord in the Navamsa chart, and he is with Lagna Lord Jupiter. Lagna Lord Jupiter and he are, even though there is distance between them, they are in the same sign. They are both in Aries. So Lagna Lord and 7th Lord are together, and Mercury is in the 2nd house of family. He is the 7th Lord. So there is a clear case for marriage, and he is the Hora Lord. Hora Lord being the 7th Lord, he can give marriage. Makes perfect sense. Right? So, very likely there is a small error in the birth time. But again, like I said, we don't really care. Why don't we care? For me?
It doesn't change my
Right.
6 minutes.
It doesn't change the Chaturthamsa, the natal Chaturthamsa. But it may change Tithi Pravesh chart if we may. So, it's good to do some rectification. So, let us take this time. We have already added 2.5 minutes. So hopefully there isn't more error. It's already corrected by so many minutes. So hope that this is right. And let's see the Chaturthamsa. Let's move to the actual question.
No, Venus is in the 12th house.
For me?
No, Venus is in the 12th house and the natal chart Navamsa.
Actually, what Dasha is running again? Saturn. So Saturn Dasha, Saturn under Dasha, house was sold. Does it make sense? Does it make any sense? Does it make any sense?
Fourth Lord in 12th house.
Twelfth house.
Pardon me?
He's the fourth.
Fourth lord in 12th house.
Yeah?
He's in the 12th
Right?
house.
Right? Fourth Lord in the 12th house, right?
So, okay, that's why we sold that.
Very good.
If you want to buy.
Yeah. Is he actually in the 4th or 12th house? He is in the 12th house. You are right. Good. So fourth Lord of house in the 12th house. Moreover, from the 4th house as Lagna, he is in Bhaskasthana, Lord in the Bhaskasthana. So basically in Saturn Dasha, some instability relating to residency is possible. So in Saturn, selling the house is a possibility. Right? Do you agree? Okay. Now let me ask you one more thing. Why money was made? This is not like losing the house. This is like selling the house. Money was made.
No, it was a loss.
He's in the
Pardon me? It may be lost, but the thing is, they got money, right? This is a sale. This is not like losing the house in some calamity. So, some link with the 11th house has to be there. So, if you take 11, Saturn is in 11, in the first house from 11. So, Saturn, taking 11 as Lagna, Saturn is in first house. So, basically, that is why this is a sale. Otherwise, 4th Lord Saturn in the 12th house can simply mean instability with respect to house or being displaced from the house, not being at house most of the time, on the move. So many possibilities are there. But because of 11 there, this is basically a sale of the house. Okay.
Wasn't there a loss of property or something out of that in that same time? Nothing which came up.
Okay. Now, still Saturn is running. Can Saturn give house also? A new house? Can he give a new house? Can he give a new house, Saturn?
He's the fourth Lord.
Pardon me?
He's fourth Lord also.
Yeah.
Agenda is to give the house.
His agenda is to, yes, exactly.
It's a company,
Exactly.
It's 12.
Placement is 12, but his agenda is to give a house. He is the fourth Lord. By the way, if you look at the Prachantar Dasha, when the house was sold was Mercury Prachantar Dasha. Mercury being the 8th Lord, right? Mercury is the 8th Lord.
It happens suddenly.
Okay, so that explains suddenness, so it happens suddenly. And also 8th Lord will give stability. So when you sell the house, you are looking for another house to live in, your lifestyle changes. So in the Mercury Antardasha, all that changes happened. And now, later Ketu Antardasha ran, and now what Antardasha is running? Venus. And then rest of the year will be Sun and Moon. So Venus, Sun and Moon are the Prachantar Dashas. So let us focus on the Prachantar Dasha. Basically, Mahadasha Lord and Antardasha Lord Saturn is capable of giving a new house. So, except that we can't put our finger on a date. So we need to use Prachantar Dasha as well as Tithi Ashtotri, Tithi Pravesh chart. So Prachantar Dasha, if you see, can Venus give a new house? Honestly? Can Venus give a new house? He is the 7th and 12th Lord. 7th Lord can show interacting with others, dealing with others, calling other people, interfacing with other people, maybe seeing houses, possible, but he is in the 12th house. Okay? So, what does it mean? He is in the 12th house. What does it mean? Can 12th house show expenditure, putting money on something? Can 12th house show an investment?
He wants A4 also.
That's the other thing. So, he is the Lord of A4. A4 is the tangible house. He is the Lord of A4. And he is in the 12th house. He is the Lord of A4 and he is in the 12th house. So,
Taking loans. 6,000. Loans means 6,000. Means may not be like stay with.
oh, I see. Very good point, yeah. She put a good point out. Her point is, he is also the Lord of the 6th house from A4.
Taking loan.
So, 6th house from A4 can mean taking a loan for the house, for buying a property. A4 is the property house and taking a loan for it. That is a possibility. Now, where is Venus? He is at 2 degrees Scorpio. Okay. So, which house? And from Lagna, taking from Lagna, he is in the 12th house. And 12th house is losing or investing or giving some money. So unlike earlier, when the planet in question was with 11, here the planet is basically in 12th house. So 12th house can show investment. So there is a chance of buying a house in Venus Prachandadasha itself, right? Because of the link with A4 and 12th house. What about Sun? Is there a chance at all of buying a house in Sun, getting a house in Sun under the Sun? Is there a chance of buying in Sun?
Sun is in the 8th house.
Yeah, Sun is in the 8th house or 7th house? Sun is in the 8th house, right? Sun is in the 8th house. Yeah? Sun is in the 8th house. So what do you say?
I think that's the time they were moving.
Why?
Second from A4.
Actually, is he second from A4 or is he in the first from A4? Tell me clearly. Sun is at 19 degrees Gemini 22. If you want, you could do one thing. You could actually open Chaturthamsa here. Can we have, you can't have the packet charts. Okay, can all open the Bhava chart and then you can basically say, I want Bhava chart in D4 and take A4 as Lagna. Okay, taking A4 as the reference, in the Chaturthamsa chart, take the Bhavas and make sure that Lagna is in the beginning of the house. Okay. So now, for me?
He's in Lagna. A4.
See, he is in first house. See the Bhava, if you make the Bhava chart here, from A4 as reference, see this is D4 Bhava chart with respect to A4. From A4, Sun is actually in the first house. Because actually A4 is at the end of Taurus and Sun is in the middle of Gemini. So he is actually, based on how I reckon, Sun is in A4. So, being the fourth lord, a quadrant lord basically in the first house, he is well placed in A4, right? And being in the 8th house from Lagna, taking Lagna as reference, is he in the 8th house or 7th house? He is in the 8th house. So, the person's, from the point of view of where the person resides, the person is adjusting to new things. So, 8th house basically shows stability, right? Just like Mercury Prachandadasha earlier, the 8th lord Prachandadasha give a change from the house to the apartment. This can also give a change. Sun. So, Venus is unlikely to give that kind of change. Sun is more likely to give the change. And moreover, if Venus is A4 lord, Sun is in the A4. So, he also is capable of giving a house. And now, what else? Will you be taking a loan or down payment? You will probably be taking a loan for the house, right? So, if he is taking a loan, there has to be a link with A6. 6th house is the house of loan. So,
Sun owns,
pardon me? Sun owns the A6. Sun owns the A6 and he is in A4, first house from A4, and he is in the 8th house. So, is Venus a stronger candidate to give a new house or Sun? In my judgment, Sun is a stronger candidate. With this chart, with this rectification that we have done, in my judgment, Sun is a better candidate to give a house. Take a loan and move into a house. And so when is Sun Prachandadasha? Oops.
and there is a parivartana between Sun and Mercury.
Right. So there could be triggered in the Mercury Prachandadasha or Sun Prachandadasha, Mercury Sukshmatadasha. We'll just ignore it. We'll just leave here. So Sun Prachandadasha from September 7 till October 31. Basically the months of September and October. There is a good chance. Even before that there is chance, but the maximum chance in my judgment is in that period. Okay? Now let us see the Tithi Pravesh chart. How is the Tithi Pravesh chart? June born. So So let us make the Tithi Pravesh chart for 2010 directly. Instead of trying 2009, let's just take 2010. Oops, I said 2010. It crashed. So 2010 Tithi Pravesh chart is on July 10, 2010. July 10, 2010 at 17:52:47, 5:52:47 p.m. So in this chart, what is going on? Who's the ruler of the year? Mercury is the ruler of the year. Okay? Mercury is the ruler of the year. And let us see the Rashi chart. How is Mercury in the Rashi chart? Mercury in the Rashi chart is the 7th and 10th lord, and he is in the 8th house. He is actually in the 7th house? Okay. Good. Now let us see the Chaturthamsa. Let's just focus on the Chaturthamsa. In the Chaturthamsa, how is Mercury? By the way, what dasha is coming? Forget the ruler of the year. What dasha will be running? Jupiter and Saturn dashas will be running. At the period that we identified. The period we identified for based on Prachanda dashas, of course, it could be plus minus one couple of weeks. But assuming it's accurate, it overlaps mostly with Jupiter dasha here, and there is also some overlap with Saturn dasha. So Jupiter and Saturn, right?
I thought you should see the sources, right?
Yeah, we should. Am I not doing that? Then we should use the Astrati dasha. You are absolutely right. So it is overlapping with, it is Moon dasha and then Mars dasha. Either Moon or Mars dasha, based on the Astrati dasha. Thank you. So Moon and Mars. Is there a chance of buying a house then? In Moon dasha, or is there a chance in Mars dasha? Let us see. Now Moon dasha. How is Moon dasha? In the D4, Moon wants A6. Moon wants A6. Right? It is at 27 Cancer 16. Okay. So Moon wants A6. So he can actually relate to the residence, etc. There can be a loan, big loan in Moon dasha. Now, which house is he in? From Lagna. Where is Moon? He is in the 4th house of residence. He is in the 4th house of Sukha, residence, and also comfort. 4th house is the house of comfort. In the earlier chart, the 4th lord Saturn was in the 12th house, showing displacement from the house, and also Mercury Prachanda dasha was running, so instability, etc. Here, a planet who gives comfort, Moon, Karaka of comfort, he is in the house of comfort. So moving into a new house and feeling good about it is possible. Now, that Moon is with Jupiter, but there is a distance between them. Right? He is with Rahu and Jupiter. Jupiter is the Lagna Lord and also A4 Lord. Jupiter is the Lagna Lord as well as A4 Lord. And Moon is the 5th Lord. He is giving Rajoga with Jupiter. And the 12th Lord Rahu is also with him. 12th house of change, displacement, etc. So, there is enough going on in the 4th house of residence. There is a lot of a good new house is basically you can say, if you find a good house suddenly and you feel good about it, that could explain the 5th house. 5th house basically is Purpunya. So if the 8th lord is involved, let us say it will be suddenly you find something and there will be some tension, etc. If it is 5th lord, you feel happy that, oh, I am lucky, I found a new house, like that basically. So something like that is possible. And there is also Gadgesari Yoga, even though Rahu is marring it. So bottom line is 4th house, A4, Lagna and A6 actually be the dasha when the new house is bought. And if you see the A4 actually, if you see the Argadas on A4, where is A4? A4 is in Pisces at 22 degrees. And Moon is at 25 degrees in Gemini. So he is actually very close to the cusp of the 4th house from A4. So he is in the 4th house from A4. So he has Argala on A4, right? Argala, 4th house has Argala, right? So Moon has Argala. He is not only with the A4 Lord, but he has Argala on A4. And he is in 4th house. So my feeling is Moon dasha will give it. So this is actually tallying with what we saw based on the Prachanda dasha of Sun. Right? So both are tallying. So my guess is September, October is the time period. Maybe Moon Jupiter, Moon Rahu, like this September second half. Moon Jupiter, Moon Rahu. It can be Moon also. But bottom is Moon Dasha is a very favorable Dasha for moving into a new house. That is probably when it will happen. That is my guess. Any other thoughts you have? Any other points you want to make?
Raja Yoga between two planets.
Yeah?
If they are happening in two different houses,
Yeah.
but still you consider that Raja Yoga is
If they are close by, Rajoga.
they are happening in which house? How do you know?
Oh, I see. You are saying there is a Rajoga, but the planets giving it are in different houses.
So
Right?
Raja Yoga is happening in
Yes. From one planet's perspective, it is one house. From another planet's perspective, it is another house.
One planet comes, we should see that.
So, see, let me put it this way. If there is a Rajoga, right, 9th and 10th lord are together, is the Rajoga relating to 9th house or 10th house? It's both. Mercury, in my case, Venus is 9th lord, Mercury is 10th lord. There is a Rajoga between them. So it's a Rajoga between 9th and 10th lord, involving Dharma as well as Karma, not just Dharma or just Karma. Now, in my case, both happen to be in the 8th house of hard work. But, let us say one of them is in 4th house, one of them is in the 5th house. So one of them relating to learning, one of them relating to scholarship. One of them relating to comfort, one of them relating to something else. So, just as the houses owned can be different, the house occupied can be different. Still, there can be synergy between them. Okay. If we later find any specific examples, we will make more comments. That will be more useful than a theoretical statement. So, any other points you want to make? Let's go back to the natal chart. Any other points you want to make on this chart? Who is the Atmakaraka? To see some of the things that we studied today, who is Atmakaraka? Huh? Saturn. Saturn is the Atmakaraka, right? And where is he in Navamsa? Where is Atmakaraka in Navamsa? Virgo. So, what can you say based on it? Atmakaraka is overall, it's a very important factor in life. So, you can say some significant factors about life based on Atmakaraka, right? That is what Parashara indirectly taught us. So, Virgo, what can you say?
You should have fleshy body according to, if Atmakaraka is in Virgo, you should be probably having a lot of Asti element in his constitution.
But that is not.
But yeah, but if you are talking about Rashi, Trishamsa, those things, you are talking about Navamsa here. So, Navamsa is marriage. So, as far as marriage is concerned, okay, marriage should be start. So, basically, in terms of marital relationship or generally relationship with people, very grounded basically, grounded relationship, right? And also Mercury, good communication. So good communication as far as relations are concerned, and solid relationship basically, solid and grounded relationship. Let's say Trimshamsha, because you were talking about fat, etc. Let's say Trimshamsha.
We have to change the chart to.
Pardon me?
It won't be same chart only. You have to change the divisional chart to the Trimshamsha.
Yeah, that's what I did here.
Okay.
I opened the Trimshamsha basically.
So it's also chart on there. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not looking at the Bhava Chakra. I'm just looking at the, because we haven't seen houses from Atmakaraka yet. We have only seen the sign occupied by Atmakaraka today. So I'm seeing the sign occupied by Atmakaraka in Trimshamsha. So what is the sign occupied by him?
Scorpio.
Scorpio. So what can you say based on it?
Fear of personality.
What are the kind of problems possible because of Scorpio? Scorpio is a Keta Rasi. So snakes, insects, viruses, that kind of things. So that problem is there. And what else? Scorpio is a fiery sign. It is a Martian sign. So there can be a lot of fire in the body, a lot of pitta-related problems, etc. are possible.
It is the natural 8th house. So
Lot of anger, inbuilt anger. Atmakaraka, Trimshamsha shows weaknesses, problems. Atmakaraka is your overall, how your ego sense works, operates in the material plane. So, having the influence of Mars, being a sign of Mars, it is possible that there is a lot of inbuilt anger, short temper, etc. in the person. So that is one possibility. So like that you can give so many possibilities. Right? Now, why only Atmakaraka? If you are looking at Trimshamsha to see problems, Knatikaraka should be of interest. Because Gnatkarka is your vulnerability and your weakness. Right? And Atmakarka is your overall I-ness. Amatyakarka is your overall, your sense of purpose in life, which counsels your I-ness, so that you operate on it. So your sense of purpose is Amatyakarka. Similarly, your vulnerability is Gnatkarka. So Gnatkarka shows vulnerability. So Gnatkarka, where he is in Trimsamsa, is of interest. So where is Gnatkarka? Who is Gnatkarka? Sun is the Gnatkarka, using the, we are using 7-8 Charkarkas. Good. Sun is the Gnatkarka. So where is he? He is exalted in again Martian sign, Aries. So this basically shows the vulnerability, the vulnerability in him has to do with Mars. So there is either anger or irritability, short temper or irritability. Actually, when I saw him personally, he came across as a very nice gentleman, but you never know. Only she will know. So
He's nicer than me.
okay. So that is possible. Otherwise, the fire basically can manifest as pitta, lot of pitta in the body, lot of fire in the body. So there can be lot of pitta related problems in the body. So that is another possibility.
He has that.
So in that case, if that is the case, he has lot of pitta, then he should not eat lot of spicy food, eat very mild food, take some precautions. But so this is basically, you can look at the karkas in the Trimsamsa to get general ideas about the basic vulnerabilities, the basic nature, etc. Let's see the Vimshamsa, right? No, Vimshamsa. Actually, before we see Vimshamsa, if you see the Dashamsa, in the Dashamsa, Amatyakarka is where both Amatyakarka and Atmakarka and Amatyakarka are in Gemini. And Gemini is an intellectual sign. It is a Mercury sign. So, what are the results he gave for Mercury? He gave like skin diseases, etc. But not in Dashamsa. So in Dashamsa, it is probably relating to somebody who has a job relating to logic or communication or things relating to Gemini. So basically his I-ness, it's not that he has a job relating to communication. That will be seen from 10th house. But his I-ness, in the sphere of work, his I-ness works through Gemini, which is intellectual, logical. So his I-ness manifests as intellectual. So there may be somebody who is not doing intellectual work, but his inherent nature may be to do in logical thinking. So somebody may be driving a rickshaw for his living, but his nature may be intellectual. So that nature you see here, the nature of the person. Atmakarka is your basic, the core nature.
Given a work, how you do it.
And that nature, how it basically manifests, how it looks at this particular area of life, the Samsa. So in each area of life, your basic nature is conditioned by some qualities. So the conditioning of your inherent nature, your ego sense, your I-ness, the basic I-ness which is driving your life, the conditioning of that in this area of life is seen by influences on Atmakarka in that particular divisional chart. So when it comes to career, etc., he's logical, intellectual, communicating, that kind of thing. What about Vimshamsa, the spiritual life? So again, as far as the spiritual life is concerned, the Atmakarka is in, you know what, actually the 12th house is very strong. I don't know if it's really 12th house, but it's very strong. Very interesting. Let's take Saturn as Lagna. Where is Saturn? Saturn. Let's take Saturn as Lagna and take D20 as the chart and make Bhava Chakra. So this is Bhava by Chalit Chakra of D20 using Saturn as reference. So now, Sun, Moon and Jupiter are in the 12th house. Sun, Moon and Jupiter are in the 12th house. There are 3 planets in the 12th house. And the 12th Lord Venus